Damn 6-letter inputs. I have to spell my name with a K again. Hello everyone, Treecks here and welcome to my next project. Welcome to the next Zelda game, the third Zelda game, finally, The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past. After being off sync with this series ever since the beginning of my Let's Play career, since I started with Ocarina of Time, at least one of the versions of Ocarina of Time, finally it seems we are going to get back on sync with the Zelda series, because the third Zelda game was the one missing from my complete synchronization with this series. And it is coming up now. The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past from 1991 on the SNES. But I will be playing it on the Game Boy Advance, because this game got a remake in the name of The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past 4 Swords. The second game that is part of this compilation title I'm actually not going to play. I'm solely going to focus on A Link to the Past. 4 Swords might be coming up later. In this version it is actually multiplayer only, so I cannot really cover it on a single player Let's Play channel. But there is a version coming up later on the DSiWare, and I might be taking a look at 4 Swords then. But for now I'll be focusing on A Link to the Past, the remake of it on the Game Boy Advance. Finally seeing the normal game of A Link to the Past again, after being bombarded with A Link to the Past randomizer and randomizer playthroughs by a lot of people the last couple of years. The randomizer for this game is very famous, of course. Became a little bit too famous in my opinion. Kind of broke the game a little bit, so it's time to go back to the original. Just the plain old normal Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past. The only Zelda game that's released on the SNES. It was back in the days when Zelda games didn't come out yearly. It's something that did happen in the early zeros. A new Zelda every year. Was not the case back then. Only one Zelda released on the SNES. And man, was it a Zelda. Definitely one of the better Zeldas ever made. I'm not going to go into the story quite yet, because the game is going to tell us itself. So, time for some story and time to get started with this great adventure. Long ago, in Hyrule, a beautiful kingdom surrounded by forests and mountains. Legends told of an omnipotent and omniscient gold power that lay hidden. It was hidden in a sacred realm beyond the reach of men. But one day, a doorway to that realm was suddenly opened. Hoping to claim the golden power as their own, the people began to quarrel and fight. Many sought to enter the hidden golden land, but none returned, and instead, evil power began to issue forth from the dark portal. Of course, there's always bad guys coming out of portals. So the king commanded 7 sages to seal the gate to the land of the golden power. Many brave knights were lost in the battle to protect the sages from the tides of evil. But the seal was cast. Evil flowed no more, and the seal would remain for all time. Or so the people hoped. But when these events were obscured by the mists of time and became a legend, a mysterious wizard known as Agahnim appeared as from nowhere. And with strange magic powers, he eliminated the good king of Hyrule. Oh man, king dead already in the intro. He cast spells on the soldiers and kidnapped young maidens descended from the sages, in order to break the seal. Apparently the sages' power flows in the blood of their descendants. This destiny fast approaches for the final maiden, the Princess of Hyrule, Zelda. Help me! Please help me! I am a prisoner in the castle dungeon. My name is Zelda. The wizard, Agahnim, has done something terrible to the other girls. Now only I remain. Agahnim has seized control of the castle and even now is trying to open the sage's seal. I am in the dungeon of the castle. Please help me. Help. Telepathy. Treecks, I'm going out for a bit, but there's no need for you to worry. Say hello to our uncle, by the way. I'll be back by morning, but I don't want you leaving the house until then. Go back to bed. And wait for me to return. Our uncle, a knight of Hyrule, you might say. He knows there's trouble too. He's going to the castle in order to stop Agahnim. But of course, we know how it works. He's not going to return. We are the hero. Link is the one we can control, so of course we are going there too. First controls. The D-pad you can use in order to go in 4 directions. Correction, in 8 directions. Diagonally it also works, as you can see. Other than that, we have the A and B buttons for our actions, but we don't quite have any actions yet. We can use the R button to do stuff, like picking up pots in this case. The R button is basically your action command, you might say. You can find recovery hearts here. We can also use the start button in order to open up a little menu screen where we can save the game or enter sleep mode. It is a Game Boy Advance after all, and therefore a handheld system. So there's a sleep function here too. I will not be using it, of course. We can press the select button in order to open up an item menu. You can see all of the items we have, which is none, since we just got started. It also gives a little menu of what the R button can do, all of our actions. Talking, pulling, reading, lifting. And a couple of other things to the right, which are non-relevant right now. They will be explained later, since they don't have any context right now. Especially dependents. But anyway, the R button you can also use to open up chests. And here is one, in fact, for our first item already. You got the lamp. Press the A button to light torches and navigate the dark. Oh. Help me, I'm in the dungeon of the castle. Somewhere outside the castle, you should find a hidden entrance to the palace garden. Yeah, if you take too long, the game will start giving you hints throughout telepathy. But first let me show off this item. You can use the lamp with A. A button is what you use to use your items. But it does cost magic, as you can see at the top left of the screen. We have a magic meter, so you can't use it indefinitely. Okay, it seems to be very nice weather outside, so time for some strolling through the castle. There's nothing really you can do, so don't go try exploring the overworld quite yet. Our limited actions and limited items will bring us nowhere, so I will give 100 rupees to the man who finds the descendants of the 7 sages, the king. I don't really think the king is the one who put up that sign. Agahnim, that smells like you. Hey. Hey, you're not allowed in the castle, son. Go home and get some sleep. Of course, we're not allowed through the front door. But we did get a hint already because of us taking so long. Zelda, through telepathy, mentioned there's actually a hidden entrance to the castle garden. And this is in fact where it is. Shut up, Zelda. I'm already on my way. This bush we can pull up and find a hidden corridor. And we fall into the basement of the castle, where we immediately find our uncle. He didn't get very far. That voice. Treecks, is it you? I thought it told you to wait at home. I suppose there's no escaping destiny. Here, take this sword and shield from me. I shall teach you one of the secret sword techniques used by the Knights of Hyrule. Hold the B button to focus power in your blade. Release it to unleash the power. Treecks, you must rescue Princess Zelda. Our people are fated to do so. But do not fall victim to fate. Treecks, I shall always remember our time together. And we get the sword and shield from him. And he did explain a little bit we can use the B button in order to use our sword. You can see, just pressing B will slash the sword. And the secret technique he taught us is actually the spin attack. Hold B, and then you can do this 360 spin with your sword. And our uncle apparently died. Or is just gravely injured, I believe. He doesn't really die. But fun fact, in the SNES version, he actually has a different dialogue. He actually talks about how Princess Zelda is our... ... And it actually became a pretty big thing in gaming for a long time. People talking about what he's actually supposed to say. Things like, Princess Zelda is your sister, or Princess Zelda is your destiny. Pretty interesting dialogue, but they did change it up in the Game Boy Advance version here, as you can see. Making it a little bit more clear. Okay, here we have a torch actually. This one doesn't do anything, but we can kind of use it to try out how the lantern works. As you can see, we can light torches with it. This chest is useless. It gives us a blue rupee. It is our first bit of money, but still nothing too special. No real item in here. But do make sure you collect enough rupees, because there's a lot of things to buy in this game as well. So hundreds, maybe even thousands of rupees are required to get. So make sure you cut all of your bushes, trying to find as many rupees as you can, since whenever you're going for 100%, you're going to need a lot of them. But okay, we are in the castle garden now. The guard wouldn't let us in the normal way, but the non-normal way still got us in. We can actually fight with the guards here, but nothing really required to do. It's not really required to do so. Let's head into the front door of the castle. And we get treated to an awesome castle music immediately. Really love this song. Okay, a lot of guards in here too. They're pretty easy to take out. They're the first enemies we meet in the game, so of course they're not going to be too complicated yet. Just 2 simple strikes with your sword, and they don't even have any shields. Okay, there's multiple ways we can go. But at least we want to go to the north end of the first floor. And this is the way we can get there. You can also go through the right door to also take you here. Let's take out a couple of dudes that are in the way. They're supposed to be the regular guards of Hyrule, you might say, the Knights of Hyrule, but they got brainwashed by Agahnim too, so they think we're the enemy. Okay, if you come from the right corridor, this is where you end up. You end up at this location no matter what. Let's move on to the basement. A little bit of a stronger guard, but still nothing too special. He drops a key, which you can use to open this door. But there's also a chest here, so let's not forget to pick that up. You got the map. Use it to see your current position and the rest of the dungeon. For that, press the L button. The L button is used to look at the map of this game. There's also an overworld map, but whenever you are in dungeons like this one, you actually get the map of the dungeon, where you can see the room layout and where all the doors are. And eventually also where the dungeon boss is. But this first dungeon does not have a boss, but just remember that is also an option. Let's just move on further into the dungeon. There are a couple of endless pits here, as you can see. You can also make the enemies fall in it. It's a pretty funny sight, but be careful, you can fall in it yourself too. So whenever you meet these edges without any barriers, you can fall in there and you lose a heart, so be careful. The first real hazards start appearing here. At this point the game thinks we have been getting enough intro, so we can take on a little bit more challenge this time. The enemies are going to be pretty standard. All we find is these blue and green guards. But still, they can still kill us if we're not careful, so... Okay, defeating that guy will open up a door to the right. Don't forget to go in here. Door locks behind us, but there's only one enemy to destroy, so... Easily taken care of. For the key, for continuation, but we also find the next item in here. The boomerang. Press select to choose it and give it a whirl. And since we have a second item now, we can actually use our item screen now. As you can see, we can select any item we want, and that one will become our to-use item. So now we can press A to use the boomerang. It's a pretty useless item. You can use it to stun enemies. I usually don't use it all that often in this game, but it is a thing. If you do want to use it, go right ahead. Okay, third basement floor. This is actually where the prisoner's cells are. And therefore where Zelda is going to be hidden. But of course she's going to be protected by something a little bit more formidable than what we've seen so far. A ball and chain knight. You can use pots in order to do some double damage to him, taking him out in 2 hits. But you can also use your sword, of course. You got the big key. This is the master key of the dungeon. It can open many locks that small keys cannot. Like the prison cells, for instance. So, if we just touch the lock, we can go in and find a treasure chest, which is more important than Zelda. Hell yeah, for rupees. Okay, let's talk to Zelda. Thank you, Treecks. I had a feeling you were getting close. Treecks, listen carefully. All the soldiers in the castle have fallen under the wizard's spell. And I fear even worse has befallen my father. That wizard is an inhuman fiend. His powers are strong. Do you understand? That I do. Good. We should go quickly before the wizard notices us. I know a secret path, but we must go to the first floor to reach it. Let's go. Okay, we have an ally now, you might say. Zelda will follow us. She's not able to get hurt or able to fight, so she's just there to show off she's following us. There's nothing really she can do, but we do have to take her out of the castle, and we obviously can't take the front door. But she did say there is a secret pathway. Okay, we need to go south. There is a secret pathway out of the castle on the first floor, so let's make our way there. On the way back we can actually use these upper ledges as a shortcut, so we don't have to cut through the enemy infested areas. Bye! Okay, stairway back up to the ground floor. Okay, now we need to make our way back to the main lobby. Because that's where we need to find this secret pathway out of the castle. Thank you for the single rupee. Like I said, I'm going to need plenty of them at some point, so... There's a secret passage in the throne room that leads to the sanctuary. I'm sure the old man there will help us. We must hurry. Okay, the throne room, eh? Let's get there. It's over here, actually. Second floor, throne room. Hopefully the dead skeleton of the king is not going to be here anymore. I don't think Zelda would like to see her father like that. No, they bothered to take him away. That ornamental shelf should open. Do we have a light? It's pitch dark inside, and you can't see without one. If you're ready, let's go. We have to push it from the left. Come on, help me. Yeah, if you were thinking to go here first, you wouldn't be able to push this, because, of course, 2 people are needed in order to open this up. So without Zelda, you're not allowed in here. And indeed, she wasn't lying. It's pitch dark in here. But we do have our lantern. So we can use it to light up torches that we can find throughout these rooms. To light stuff up a little bit. As you can see, we can see a little bit better now. Whenever you use the lantern freely, you will not be able to make things more light. Only if you light the torch, the room will light up a little bit more. Okay, here we find some rats that are good for grinding rupees, in all honesty, because they tend to drop a lot of rupees. So take out a lot of these rats if you want some easy access to early rupees. Okay, here we have the return of the ropes. Remember those from the first Zelda game? The snake-like enemies that charge at you in the moment they see you. They're a little bit easier to handle in this game, but they will get harder variants later on. Don't worry, it's just early game, so enemies are supposed to be easy. And we only have 3 hearts, of course. Not having a whole lot of health also would make it unfair to give us hard enemies immediately. Okay, we also find some keys here, the bats from the Zelda universe. Okay, this chest contains a key, don't skip it because you're going to need it. As you can see, locked door. After passing through these sewers, we will be very close to the sanctuary. Let's be careful. I don't have to be careful, I've played this game way too many times in my life. I know what I'm doing. I know how to get hit by rats. Okay, let's kill all these guys, because like I said, I want rupees. So, ooh, red rupee. 20 rupees. Definitely worth getting. There's a lot of water in these rooms, as you can see. The enemies actually can't go over the water, so all the rats will walk around it. Keys can fly over it, of course, so... And in the water, you're safe for the reds, at least. Okay, blue rupee, thank you. Worth 5 rupees. If you haven't noticed yet. Green rupees, 1 rupee. Blue rupees are 5, and red rupees are 20. Oh, this red actually drops a key. Which is obviously going to be required. Keys are never optional in a Zelda game. They're always required. Okay, we finally get a light room again. Oh man, a lot of rupees. Here we find a crack in the wall. If you remember your Zelda lore, you know bombs are required. We don't quite have them yet, so we'll be returning later for that crack in the wall. This is actually something we cannot complete right now. And there's another one over there. But we are forced to go in here. This room we'll have to check back on later, once we have bombs. Okay, we seem to be out of the sewers. We're back upstairs. But where are we? We took quite a long trek, so we're probably not in the castle anymore. The sanctuary is just beyond that door. Pull the switch over there. Switch? Which one? There's 2 of them. Okay. Left one first. It's a trap! It's a rope trap! Nothing we can't handle. Ow. What am I saying? I'm getting hit way too many times already. You have to pull the lever to open the door. Hold the R button and press down on the control pad. Oh, now you tell me how to pull the thing. I already pulled one, but still. Ah, the sanctuary. Princess Zelda, you are safe! And you are the one who rescued her, Treecks. It's thanks to Treecks that I escaped from the dungeon. When I was captive, the wizard said, "Once I have finished with you, the final one, the sage's seal will open." Treecks, you must not let the land of Hyrule fall into the wizard's clutches. If he breaks the seal of the 7 sages, a wave of evil power will be unleashed. If that happens, the people of Hyrule shall never again know peace. Before that happens, before it's too late, please, you must defeat the wizard before he destroys all of Hyrule. You can. You must. I sense that a mighty evil force guides the wizard's actions and augments his magical power. The only weapon potent enough to defeat the wizard is the legendary Master Sword. But the only person remaining who has any idea of where the blade may be is the village elder. He is said to be a descendant of one of the 7 sages. Perhaps he can tell you more. I will mark his house on your map, but we must take care. I am certain the castle soldiers are looking for you and the princess now. The 2 of you cannot stay together. I shall hide Princess Zelda here. Do not worry. Seek the elder. Do you understand? I do. In order to defeat the wizard, we need the Master Sword. And in order to find that, we need to find the village elder, which just got marked on our map. But first, let's get this chest that has been mocking us through the entire dialogue. And this will give us a heart container, giving us a 4th heart. Of course, heart containers also return in this game, and this is where you find the first one. Immediately after concluding the prologue of the game, you might say. We have saved the princess, we know our mission. Next time, the adventure will truly begin in our quest to try to defeat the wizard before he breaks the seal of the 7 sages. See you folks next episode. Thanks for watching and Treecks out.